Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up Devkitpro in Windows 10. So this is a 64-bit version of Windows here. So open up your browser and navigate to this site here. If you type in Devkitpro download and then either go to their site or go to the installer, you'll end up here anyway on their GitHub to download their latest version here. So download that. I've already got it here in my downloads. There you go, and then when you run that, click next, and then you may as well remove downloaded files afterwards. Click next, and then I would select all of these except for GP32, but of course that's up to you what which ones you're interested in, and then click next. Now what that will have done is it would have installed all of those libraries. To C drive under a Devkitpro folder. So what this is doing is it's going to create a virtual file system just like Linux. So these are the various compilers for the different consoles here. It should already have set up some system variables for you. So if you go into System About, Advanced System Settings, and then Environment Variables, you should see all of these set up here. So it's using the path setup as per Linux. So what you should be able to do now is if you navigate to one of these folders here, the examples folders will go into. So I've already built all of these, but if I delete these here, now what you'll need to do is copy the folder location, but to run it you'll have to open a MySys2 window. So go into Devkitpro and then select a MySys2 window here. Sorry about this. This is the joy of using Windows. Now if you type make, once you get to the location, then it should build a GBA file, or if you navigate to one of the other examples, it should build that. The reason why I'm showing you a GBA one here is because I have an emulator installed already. So for all of these consoles here, so now that we know that it works for the GBA, one thing we can do is to go through and update stuff. So what you'll want to do is to go to their site here, and then go to the Devkitpro Pac-Man thing, scroll down to the bottom here. So what we have to do is use a package manager. So this MySys2 program creates like a virtual Linux file system where it maps your drive as if it was a Linux system. So to use everything here, they've got a thing called Pac-Man, which is a package manager, which allows us to use the Devkitpro packages from their website via this program here. So one thing we want to do is to check for any updates, make sure we've all got the latest version of everything. So if you type in Pac-Man and then capital S and then Y, press return, that will check for updates. And then to list any other libraries, type in capital S, lowercase l, press return. And this shows you all the different libraries here for the various consoles supported by Devkitpro. So if we were developing, say, on the Switch, and we wanted to install one of these libraries here, for example, let's have a look at one of them here. Say SDL2, for example. Then if you scroll down here, it lists here how to install them. So to install packages, so let's make a note of it. What was it? Switch SDL2. Type in Pac-Man hyphen capital S capital I and then is that a capital or not? Nope, not capital. Okay, so that's not install, that's give information about it. Okay, it's just S. So I'm not going to install that, but as you can see there, if you to install anything or to update it, you'll have to follow these commands here. So when you're working in Windows, you just need Pac-Man and then the hyphen capital S and then the letters at the end there. And then to leave this here, we type exit. And then one thing to note on all of these here. So what I'll do now is I'll show you how to quickly set up a compiler, or rather I will show you how to set up one of the compilers as an example for the GameBoy Advanced. So I'm using Codeblocks here. It's pretty much the same if you were going to use anything else. Obviously the paths and whatever else will depend on what compiler you're using. I'm using Codeblocks here. If you want to see how to set up Codeblocks, then there's another video for that, which I have under Windows. So we'll set up a GameBoy Advanced compiler here. So copy that, and now for myself I'm going to call this GBA2 because I already have one which I set up. Now in the search directories here, in fact no, we'll go to the tool chains first. So you want to navigate to where you installed Devkitpro. Now you're going to need to know which devkit is for which platform you wish to develop on. So in this case the Game Boy Advance uses Devkit ARM compiler. So I then go to the binary folder there, which is where everything is installed for Game Boy Advance, and then we need to go through and change the names of all of these compilers. The most of the compilers all have their equivalent to GCC and G++. So I recommend copy and paste this and then just change this each time to save faffing around. So we don't need this Windows resource compiler there, and then we need also a custom version of Make which is installed in Devkitpro. If you try and use MySys version, then it will mess up. So it's MySys2 user bin folder, and then find the make file executable in here. If you don't try and if you don't use this one, then your project won't build. And then we can add some additional paths here. As you can see, this all takes time. So if you're developing on the Game Boy Advance, I recommend you also add in libgba and libtonk as well. Okay, so that's that one set up now. Now what we want to do is create a template. So in all of the example folders here for all the different consoles, they all generally have a template file, which is a bare minimum that you need to get started with. So I'd copy that, and then what I've done is in my documents I've created a GBA dev folder. You can do the same for whatever console you're interested in building on. So copy that template in there, and then we'll go back to Codeblocks, create a new project, select empty project, go, select next, then navigate to documents folder, GBA as our base folder, and then we'll call this P2 for project 2. Call it whatever you want. The key thing to look at here is that it's going to create the folder there for us. Then click next, then select your compiler. As you can see, I've already gone through and done this once. Now we have an empty project here. Now navigate to where that project is. So for me, I have it there. And then open another window next to that. Just love Windows. I have multiple versions of Windows installed everywhere. So unfortunately, when I switch between them each time, lots of the things I take for granted, which I've set up on one version, doesn't work on another. Hence, you have to go around and fiddle with everything just to try and get Windows working how you'd like it. So we have our source file there and our make file. So I'll rename the source file to main. Notice also that it's hiding the file extensions here. This is a virtual machine I've not properly set up. Now to add everything, go on to add recursively. Make sure you're in the location of your project. So there's our main file there. So what we also want to add in as well is our make file. And then we want to make sure we open it inside the Codeblocks editor. So now what you need to do is fiddle around even more. So go into project, build options. Project properties first. Then tick this is a custom make file. Then click OK. Then go into project, build options, and then make sure you're on release, go on to make, and then delete target, delete file, delete target, and type in clean. Click OK. Now we save that and build. Hopefully you got that. If not, you might want to look through the steps I've done here and make sure that this all works out for you. So this is the same sort of thing you would do with all the others here. So once you've got the empty template saved, onto file and then save project as template, and then I don't know, type 2024 underscore GBA T1, as this is our first base template there. Now in future when you start a new project, this could be your base to build off of, and I would do that for all of the others as well. So as this is a generic Devkitpro install, you'd want to do the same for all of the other, whatever other console you want to build for. So once you've built the program, obviously you'll want to get an emulator to test it in. So there you go, that's the Hello World program on the GBA there for you. Hopefully this has been useful for you. So another thing to note as well is that installer doesn't work with Windows 7 or below. I don't know whether it works with Windows 8 or not, but this does work for Windows 10 and it needs to be 64-bit as well. So that's it for this Devkitpro install video. Hopefully you've found this useful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next videos.